is that people see death all around them. They're dying all the time. But we think, oh yeah, but I won't die. So the whole point of this situation is to be reinstated in a loving relationship with Krishna, to change our consciousness from I, me, and mine consciousness to consciousness and awareness of Krishna. We belong to Krishna. He's loving us in such a way that not only is he, when he expands himself, he comes within the heart of each and every living entity. He's there on every body. There's also Krishna as Paramatma. And he comes, as you know, as Bhagavad Gita. And he comes in a way that we can see him and appreciate him in the holy name. Why? Because we can't see him with our material vision. Therefore, with the holy name, we can hear. And the holy name is Krishna in his most merciful aspect. Not only can we hear him, he's purifying us. As you know, Cheto Darpana Manjanam, it's cleansing the heart. So I like to be aware of the honest situation that Srila Prabhupada said, the material world is no place for a gentleman. What to speak of a lady? It's not such a nice situation. But a saintly person, once we've done the hard work of rehabilitating ourselves and bringing ourselves back to the healthy state of pure consciousness, how? We can't even do that by the grace of Guru and Krishna, by their mercy. So unless there's an awareness, an intensity to see exactly the fact that somehow the entire environment that we're in has not been conducive for the remembrance of who we actually are. That's why we want to rehabilitate ourselves. And Mother, I love you, but I want us to feel the reality of the fact that when we were in our youth, it seemed like we could do this forever. And then we become a little older, and we're going to watch the children grow up and go and start their own project. And when you really pull back all the different facades, all of us start our own God projects. We become the center, we become the enjoyer, we try to be the controller. And what is it which will make the difference in that consciousness and that attitude? It is the chanting of the holy name properly. If we chant this name properly, without offense, then the purificatory process, even when we're struggling, Krishna is so kind that just like the parent accepts the broken language of the child, Krishna accepts our feeble, our humble attempt, but we just have to quit committing the offenses. So this is what we want to do. We want to make ourselves strong. And this whole process that you have at the temple of the morning program, the deity worship, the hearing Bhagavatam class, doing seva during the daytime, coming back and there's class in the evening. What is it for? This is sadhana. This is real sadhana. And as it's explained by Rupa Goswami, when it's in the practice stage, we do it out of obligation, or we do it because, yes, I should do it. But as we continue to do it, these same practices, as we continue to chant, these practices will be our greatest joy, because we'll relish waking up in the morning, not just because we have our job, or we have our seal, we'll wake up thinking, Nama Om Vishnu Padai Krishna Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tadamani Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Bajorani Nirvishesha Srinyavani Paschak Yadixatani. We're grateful to the spiritual master. So we wake up and we offer our obeisances. And as we hurry to that shower, we're not just thinking of the things we did today. We're thinking, I'm going to meet Krishna. So we hurry. and we cleanse ourselves. And we put tilak on all parts of our body. We call those names as we put that tilak on. A lot of times I used to like to cheat. I said, no, I'm just going to put it on my forehead. But something inside says, no, 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 every place, and call those names. I always try to think of the reasons. I quit now. I just, okay, I'll do it. I'm not going to say anything. But eventually, even as we go through the motions of our spiritual practices, we do them with care and attention and affection. Why? Because the transformation is taking place. First, we have to change the subtle body, adjust it, purify it. The holy name can dissolve it. The contaminated mind, the contaminated intelligence, the false conception of self. Now, in my honest, rehabilitated state, I know that I'm an eternal servant of God. And that position is a very safe one. So that is the perspective that we want to have. And when we chant nicely together, we find strength. When Rupa Goswami, Mother Sangeeta, in her reading yesterday, she explained, their Dal Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangam, that in Rupa Goswami's explanation of the process of devotional service, he said, all we have to bring to the table is a little faith, have a little trust, just a little. And here comes the big one, Sadhu Sangha. You associate with the devotees, because that association with the devotees is really the game changer. Because the fire of their heart goes to your heart. Their words of divyam, transcendental words, and the knowledge is beyond the mundane sphere. So to remind you of who you really are, of what our situation actually is. And in that state, our faith becomes, well, maybe I can trust a little bit. That extra little bit of trust means that your fire has been fanned. And the process is to take us to Krishna Prema. So we want to be awake. When you hear Lord Chaitanya, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jeev Jago, he says, wake up, Lord Chaitanya is calling, wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long are you going to sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? He's not saying it in a very sweet way. There's an urgency. This is love. This is affection. If you see that there's danger ahead, you call out so that you can help those that you care about. Every town and village, it was dangerous. The Harinam party, they would go chanting the holy names of God. Why? Because they had something to give. And what they had to give was the gift of God. Him and his name are none different. So it's what it is. And not only is it Japa Rehab, I want everyone to try and join Club 16-4. It's exclusive. It's only a beginning though. 16-4 is 16 rounds daily, as good as you can make them, at least 16 rounds daily on beads. You can chant off beads as much as you want. And you can even chant on your beads more, but 16. And the 4. 4 is the 4 regulated principles of freedom. I want to be free, not to have to react to my body and mind and senses and the objects of the senses. I want to be free. Therefore, I refrain from intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and illicit connections. And in that way, we're able to hear from the proper perspective. We're able to see things a little differently. The cataracts become removed from our eyes. So again, I'll try to get it posted that we chat from 7:30 to 8. Some of us are here earlier, and that's good. But a couple of days, I was looking for Mother Reinica. She didn't tell me she wasn't going to be there. And for a couple of days, I missed her. She didn't
I
check.
was in Peoria, Illinois.
Huh?
Was in Peoria, Illinois for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I know. I missed you too. I was here. So I just chanted by myself. I didn't, but that's the whole thing about association. We need each other. I need the association of devotees. I've come to realize that. So, okay. So the subject matter that we're into now, and another reason why I'm speaking like this, we're into such a sweet nectarian aspect of this Namrahasha about the holy name. But the point is, we'll never taste it if we don't do the hard work of excavating. Before you can get that skyscraper, you have to do the excavation, dig the dirt, put in a good foundation, backfill, then bring it up. Then you've got your building. But we have to dig deep so that we can taste the sweetness of the holy name. So, Mother, I'm going to start today. I saw this. I've been going back and forth, but I reached a lot of here and I forget where I'm at, where we leave off at. But some of this is so sweet.
Chapter 8.
We're at 8?
Yes.
Oh, aspire for prema while you chant. This is amazing. I'll see if I can do that. If we wish, we're going to read a lot, so don't worry. If we wish to attain any goal, we have to remain mindful of it while we are engaged in whatever activities bring it about. Even though it seems often that most of our attention must be used just to keep ourselves on course. Somewhere in the back of the mind, we have to remain aware of our destination. After all, reaching the destination is the only reason we have undertaken the journey. We must remain conscious of the goal of our spiritual practice to attain prema bhakti. Such awareness is called nirbandhini mati, undivided attention. Only those who focus their attention in this undivided way can hope to attain perfection. Or to say it differently, while performing sadhana, spiritual practices, we must remain aware of the sadhya, the goal of those practices. Bhaktivinoda Thakur insists that we must maintain this awareness from the beginning of our spiritual journey. Quote, from the very beginning of this practice, the devotee must adopt the concentrated attention, and he should be careful not to give it up because of distraction or inattention. Sri Chaitanya Chikshamrita, first rainfall, seventh shower. In this connection, he quotes, Achirad eva savat tat siddhat yesham abhipsita saddamas yava bodhaya yesham nirbandhini mati. Those who are eager to awaken their spiritual consciousness and who thus have unflinching, undeviating intelligence or concentration on their goal certainly attain the desired goal of life very soon. This is from the Naradiya Purana, quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2106. When discussing this important verse in relation to chanting the holy name, the verse would read, while chanting the holy names, fix your mind on the perfection of chanting, prema. Then you will quickly attain your goal, pure love of God. Mental concentration, adharana, is but one step in the gradually ascending Astanga Yoga ladder. And it always follows pratyahara, the retraction of the attention from distractions. A chanter well trained in the science of japa will learn to develop this concentration without having to practice Astanga Yoga. By the holy name's mercy, the mind will become completely still. The end result of all yoga practice Once the lake of the mind becomes free from the constant waves of acceptance and rejection, it begins to resemble the calm surface of a lake on a windless day. When devotees chant with this calm and focused attention, the splendors of the spiritual world, including Krishna's form and qualities, become reflected in the mind, and the devotees experience deep happiness. It is impossible to compare this happiness with any other type of happiness, because other types of happiness appear just like insignificant straw on the street. Totally ashamed to appear before the Hari Namananda, the pleasure of chanting Hari's name. This is sweet. This is so sweet. You know, we had so many nice servants, teachers when I was young in the ashram, but they didn't tell us really what we were dealing with the holy name. You know, I had a Sankirtan leader who was also the Bhakta leader. He would sit beside me. Dr. Howard, you know, you dropped the Krishna. Say your Ramas, say the whole name. I'm saying it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Again, don't slur those names. Don't slur those names. And so one day I thought, he's going to come sit beside me while I chant. I said, I'm going to chant every name so clear that he's going to leave eventually. I said, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. And I kept chanting like that. Justified said, what got into you, Dr. Howard? You're chanting good job for this morning. I said, you're getting into me. You're getting into my head. But he said, okay, calm down. But they didn't explain to us that this is really the sadhana and the sadhya. This is your practice, but this practice will enable you to attain the desired goal, which is Krishna prema. Said easily, love of God. I didn't understand. I knew we were supposed to chant our rounds so I could get initiated eventually. And Prabhupada said to do it, so you better do it. And it's nice to do it. But I didn't understand that this was everything. This was Krishna's biggest gift other than the spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is such a gift. Because the spiritual master, in a bona fide, connected parampara way, gives you Krishna. He gives you the holy name. He says, now take this Maha Mantra, chant it, avoid the 10 offenses. And what are the regulative principles? Avoid these 4 principles. And in that way, the spiritual master, he opens our eyes. So it's so nice when we read this, and there's so much that's written in these few little paragraphs. But this is our process. And what we need to do now, we've gone through Japa Reform, we've gone through, in a nice way, Japa, you know, and we're here in Nam Rahasya, but really, it is really about our practice. It's about our attentiveness to the process. If it may seem a little funny, but if we can come together now in this stage and chant better and appreciate, just like Drona, Vishnu Gada, they had us do these different courses, Vaishnav etiquette, which Mother Sudevi did. Vaishnav etiquette is so important because this is how you get the blessings. So everything that we're doing here, we have to bring it all together. This is all which enables us to chant japa nicely. There's a trick. Don't be cheated. The mind says everything's okay, we're good, you just do this for this time, then you got your own time, we're free. There's no free time. We're to tester. We're going to get a boss. We're going to get someone to push us around one way or another. It's Krishna or it's Maya. There's no gray area. We have to be under someone's direction. Who's it going to be? And the time that we're away from Krishna, it's Maya. It's really, really, really simple. So the point is to change the consciousness, to develop an association that helps us remember who we are, what the goal of life is. An association which gives us strength, like grabbing those weights, those spiritual weights, and lifting them up and getting a little more intensity, a little more strength the next day. And this is what we get. And these practices that I spoke of, when you wake up and your consciousness is changing, when you go to see the deity, you hit the floor. There's no one there. You offer obeisances because you're so grateful. And when you stand up to do the yartik, you're aware of who you're dealing with. So you're offering with love and affection. Whatever we can conjure up out of that stone-like heart, we offer it. Patram pushpam palam tuyam. But it's not the leaf or the flower, the fruit or water. It is the offering, the love and devotion, the affection that we're offering it with, because everything else is coming from Krishna anyway. So anyway, we're going to go on. I said, Mother, we're going to do a lot of reading. Let's go. Let's do more.
Chapter 9, the magic formula. In his Sri Harinam Chintamani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us a magic formula that summarizes how to cultivate chanting and to attain our original position. His formula has three aspects: the company of saintly devotees, a peaceful and secluded place to chant, and a determined attitude. One attains his natural glory on the strength of these three things. Harinam Chintamani 15:103.
I've always been afraid to even open the book because I went to read it and it said, if you're not a sincere person, don't even open the book. It was for sincere chanters. Please continue, Mother. Oh, Sudanam.
Part 3, chanting the name Shuddhanam. The means is the end. Why does Krishna have to first come to a conditioned soul in the form of sound? Could he not immediately appear in his eternal form? We have already discussed this a little in the section, More Merciful Than Krishna, but let's go deeper. Krishna's form in sound is the only form to which the conditioned souls can relate at present, and it is this form that gradually purifies them so that they can one day welcome the Lord in his form as Radha Govinda. One might ask why it is not possible for conditioned souls to relate to Krishna in any form other than the holy name. The answer is that we cannot see Krishna with the material senses, and neither have we yet developed our spiritual eyes. Chanting the holy name prepares us to see Krishna's fullest manifestations by awakening our spiritual senses. Because it is so difficult for us to understand how Krishna's name is identical with Krishna himself, I would like to offer an analogy. Imagine a good and powerful king who wants to somehow benefit an obstinate and rebellious citizen by making him a member of the royal dynasty so that he can appreciate the state without prejudice. Knowing well that the citizen is unrefined and even rude, the king chooses to introduce him to his new station gradually. Disguised as a man from the street, he approaches the citizen and asks, "Wouldn't you like to see the king's palace? I can take you there. But of course, first you have to learn how to behave." When the citizen agrees to be taken, the disguised king then instructs him how to act so that he will not raise suspicion or be thrown out by the guards. After the two approach the palace and enter through the door behind the throne room, the citizen's mysterious guide excuses himself for a moment, only to appear as the king, dressed in his royal garments and being praised by his ministers. I have to admit that this analogy sounds quaint, and of course it is true that analogies can never really address every level of reality. Yet this particular analogy focuses on how in the beginning we are unable to recognize the holy name for what he is and how he reveals himself to us only after we have become qualified. Vaishnavas throughout the centuries have prayed to the holy name after they have received his full revelation. They have prayed in effect, "O holy name, in my ignorance I did not know who you were and therefore have committed countless offenses against you." This gives credence to the analogy. Much like the citizen, we are trapped in the illusory world where everything we see and think is a product of the material elements, and our subjective interpretation of them has nothing to do with our spiritual identity or with spiritual reality. Still, we never lose our spiritual nature no matter what happens to us. Even the heaviest mountain cannot crush the soul, nor can all the water in the deepest ocean drown it. No conflagration can burn it, no amount of wind can wither it, and no amount of space can dissolve it. The soul is an indestructible spiritual entity. To save it from its embarrassing and unnatural entanglement in Maya, Krishna descends to the material world in the form of his holy name, and in doing so becomes the second spiritual entity within matter. Thus, the first time the conditioned soul can meet Krishna as he really is when he meets the holy name. This also means that the depth of our relationship with the holy name is an accurate representation of how deep our relationship with Krishna is. In the following song, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes how the holy name extends his mercy down to the most fallen and gradually lifts them up to the kingdom of God.
Let's wait a minute before we go there, because we're going there. Do you see? I mean, the floodgates are open now. Now we know who we're dealing with. Now you can understand how merciful Krishna is as Nam Prabhu. It's just too sweet. And remember, our position is that after this class, we really go back, although we do devotional activities, we go back to being in charge. We go back to being the man or the lady. We're back to our daily routine. And the only difference, the only change that can be made is a change of consciousness. We can do all the things that we do. This is the Mother Sangeeta was explaining the necessities of life. When the question was asked about the necessities of life, is it wrong? No, it's not wrong to take the necessities of life, but it's wrong to think that you are the enjoyer and the controller. It's wrong to think that you have this independence where I don't have to be a servant of God. And he doesn't force you. But the other side of that equation is pretty bad. That means because he loves you, in order to get your attention, he has to leave you to struggle with the three modes of material nature and those three kleshas, miseries which are caused by our own body and mind, We have that awareness. Miseries which come from other living entities, and miseries which come from the natural catastrophes. I mean, what more does it take for us to understand that COVID-19 is not an accident? It is the suffering. It's one of the clashes of the material nature. And it's doing its job. It's wiping people out. So we may not be able to change that, but we can change the state of consciousness. We can work on our consciousness, and in a benevolent mood, do whatever we can to help someone else. This means, yes, I've heard and understood, and I'm ready to act by your grace. That's what it means. So that takes sobriety. These things where I hear the second chapter of the Gita, the soul can't be burnt, cut, moistened, burnt by fire, moistened by water, or withered by the wind, not slain when the body is slain. So many things are there as we're going on. Mother, I tell you something. Sometimes I love reading it because it's so sweet, but you read so sweetly. I mean, you should have been born to read. It's so sweet.
It is the book, Prabhu. It's such a tiny book, but it's just amazing how much he has packed in it and how beautifully. He is so humble when he says that analogy is not all that good, but I think it is so perfect.
Well, here's a man. This is a man on fire. This is a man who's tasting the holy name, so you can feel it. You can feel it, can't you? He's associating with Krishna. He understands the urgency, but he also shares the sweetness because he's tasting it.
Nama Mahatmya, the glories of the holy name. 1. Krishna Nam Dhare Koto Bal. How marvelous and potent is Krishna Nam. 2. Vishaya Vasanale Mora Chitta Sada Jwale. Ravitapta Maru Bhumi Sam Karnarandhra Patha Diya Hridi Majhe Praveshiya Varishoya Suddha Anupam. My heart constantly burns within the flames of material desire, like the sun-scorched sands of the desert. Yet Harinam mercifully enters through the gates of my ears and showers cool divine nectar to embalm my heart. Hridoy hoite bole jihwar agrite chale, shabda rupe nache anukshan, kanthe more bhange swara, ange kampe thara thara, sthira hoite na pare charan. My heart now sings out Krishna Nam, and Nam dances on the tip of my tongue with ecstatic sound echoing all around. My voice is faltering, my body shivers like a leaf, my feet beyond control dance without respite. Chakshe dhara dehe gharma pulakita sabacharma, vivarna hoilo kalevara, murchita hoilo man, pralayera agaman, bhave sarvadeha jara jara. Tears cascade, perspiration fashions pearly drops, and the hairs stand erect upon my pale supine form. Conscious thoughts slip away, and the emotions of bhava plunder my core. Kori eto upadrava, chitte varshe sudhadrava. More dare premera sagare, kichuna bhujite dilo, moro to batula koilo, mora chitta vitta sabahore. O sacred Nama, you disrupt my life. You fill my heart with manna sweet. You sweep me off my feet and deposit me on the sublime waves of endless prema. I do not understand what is happening to me. I am confused, mad. My mind is in a whirl. Loino ashraya jar heno vyavaharatar varnite na pari e sakal. Krishna naam ichhamoy jahe jahe sukhi hoye se mora sukhera sambal. In this his behavior, whose shelter I have sought, I have no words. How may I describe him? Nama is willful, freer than the wind. Whatever makes him happy, I treasure in my thoughts. Premera kalika naam adbhuta rashera dham. Heno bala karaya prakash ishat vikasi puna. Dekhaye nija rupa guna. Chitta hari loy Krishna paas. O Naam, O blooming flower of prema, the saturated ambrosial trove, delight me once again with your dynamic force. Display even in droplets your wonder and beauty. Steal away my heart and offer it to Krishna. Purna vikashita hoye, braje mora jay loya. Dekhaye mora swarupa vilas, more siddha deha diya, Krishna paase rakhe kiya, e dehera kora kore sarvanash. May you blossom in full glory and transport me to Vraja, lifting up the Gossamer upon the stage of eternal time, to open my eyes to the amorous pastime of Radha and Krishna, the couple divine. O give me my spiritual form and keep me next to him. Destroy this despicable tabernacle shackling me. Krishna Nam Chintamani Akhila Rashe Rakhani Nitya Mukta Suddhara Samoy Namera Balai Jata Sabaloy Hoy Hata Tabe Mora Sukhera Udoy. Glorious, wish-fulfilling gem in Krishna Nam. Glorious, wish-fulfilling gem in Krishna Nam, a boundless cloud of ambrosial rain, eternal, independent, and pure. O Lord, crush all obstacles that check me from your nectarian name, so that I may soon welcome the dawn of pristine bliss. Sri Nama Mahatmya from Sharanagati.
Oh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gaurnataraj, Jaya Gaurnataraj, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. We will never, ever be able to taste this sweetness unless we get serious. It's time to join the rehab. Let's rehabilitate our lives. We are not of this material world. We have nothing to do with this nasty place. Our gratitude is that in this place, we have the opportunity to reestablish a racial relationship with Krishna, Sambandh again. But by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is the process of devotional service, Abhideya. And when we hear the sweetness of taking shelter of the holy name, we know Priyojana is there for the taking. You know, the sadhana and the sadhya. He says, if we don't shed tears, if our hair, if the hairs don't stand on it, then it must be understood we have stone-like hearts. It's either that he's tricking us and just saying flowery words, or it's true. Humility is not an attitude. To humility is an understanding. It's a manifestation of knowledge. I'm not special. There are countless jivas, countless servants of the Supreme Lord, beyond billions and trillions, countless. I'm just one insignificant falling servant. And by the grace of the Lord again, who manifests as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's just too sweet. So we want to hear, we want to experience like this. And it's, we can be greedy, but we have to be patient. All the things that we've been reading, what is that verse? Tatenu kampam susamikshamaano, you know, it's all here. When we go backwards in this book, we're going to find that there's so many gems. And in the school of surrender, it comes every now and then. You know, that when we look at the problems that we experience in life, I'm paraphrasing, the suffering, then we understand that it's only due to my past misdeeds, you know? But if one, oh, there it is right here, 5. Tatenu kampam susamikshamaano panjana evatma sikam ipakam vibhag apurviya vividhan namaste vivetayo mukti pade vidayava. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances from his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Bhagavatam 10:14-8. I tell you, it's there. It's there for us. Okay, let's start talking about it a little bit. There must be something somebody has to say. There's too much nectar flowing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mother Sudevi.
No, this is Suman.
Oh, this is Suman Sharma.
Yeah, you know.
I thought that was Mother Sudevi, but that's okay. It's wonderful to hear you, Mother.
I just want to say that I like the 3 aspects of Shri Harinam Chantamani. 3 aspects: the company of saintly devotees, a peaceful and secluded place to chant, and a determined attitude. So I like these 3 points very much. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. It's wonderful. It's quite nice. We need these. It's the magic formula.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You know, the whole point is that we may not be at a certain place, but as aspiring devotees, wanting to taste, wanting to experience, wanting to serve, then there is some humble situation from our pathetic situation. There's something that we can conjure up to help us on our plight, you know? And so we don't have to always have ambrosial words. Even the appreciation of the process. I just appreciate, so many times I'm just so appreciative of Srila Prabhupada because he saved me. You know, you have to understand. First of all, I'm supposed to be dead by now. The 70s, anyway, late 70s was too much. But anyway, but I didn't have the right conception of life. I thought the goal of life was to get more and just to enjoy in every way possible. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, stop it. You know, you're such a nonsense. And I thought he was right. He was so bold, talking about bold. Srila Prabhupada was so bold. But along with that in his heart was a burning desire to help us. Therefore, he had to wake us up and take our attention. So oftentimes, when it comes to the holy name, first, I'm so grateful to Prabhupada. I'm grateful to my Guru Maharaj, Satchrup Maharaj. I'm grateful to Ravindra. I'm grateful to so many devotees because Sadhu Sangha is so powerful. Even a person, I mean, look at Vyasapad. He used to drive me crazy. I think he saved my life.
Hariyash, can I say something? This is Sangeeta.
Oh, Mother Sangeeta, I love when you say something, Mother.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for a wonderful class, first of all. But yes, I agree, Prabhupada was very bold in his preaching, but he also had a great sense of humor. So I want to tell one thing that Shrutikirti Prabhu, who was Prabhupada's servant for some years, told me this story how one time Srila Prabhupada, who also chanted at least 16 rounds a day for everyone who didn't know that, he was exemplary in every way. And one day he chanted his 16 rounds and then he put his bead bag down and imitating our mentality, he said, there, now I can do any damn thing I please. So, you know, we really need to get out of that mentality that our at least 16 rounds is a chore, it's a vow, so we have to do it. But, you know, let's get it out of the way so now I can enjoy. And that was Prabhupada's point. You know, let me get this out of the way. Now I can do anything I want. Let's enjoy. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I love that one too. I know that one as well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Very.
But look what Prabhupada did. I mean, at 69, he just started going all over the place, everywhere. You know, no security blanket. His security blanket was Krishna. With the heart attacks coming aboard the Jaladuta, he said he was tasting the nectarine of Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know, when you think of how sweet, you know, reading the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and here the last week or so we've had Advaita Charya, and just a few days Lord Nityananda, and their association with Lord Chaitanya. They were either preaching, Lord Nityananda was something else. I mean, Haridas Thakur, you think of him meditating, he's like, I'm not going with him anymore. He's going to get us killed, you know? He's just going to the worst people. They had to run for their lives. This is real, you know? But at the same time, they'd get back. And he knew, Haridas Thakur said, he knew he's just trying to carry out the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the cost of their lives. But then what would they do? They would chant. They would feast, they chant, and they dance. And they would dance. And they would pass out. Somebody would fall unconscious, you know? And then bring them back, you know, to the Holy Name. I mean, this is just relishing the sweetness, tasting. It's there for us. Because, you know, Kali Yuga has a very special quality, you know, especially this Kali Yuga. Kalaya Doshana De Rajan, Asyaka Mahaguna Kirtana, Eva Krishnasha, Mukta Sangha Parambaja. Bad age. But that's one good thing. if we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we attain liberation. But really, what the real liberation that we get is Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, that Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna, but he's not blackish. And he comes with his associates and his weapons, and they're chanting the names of God, you know? Krishna comes early, comes before Lord Chaitanya, there's Karna, kill him. There's grandfather Bhishma, kill him. But Lord Chaitanya, no. He kills the demoniac mentality that has overtaken us in the discharge of our service. And he kills it and he replaces it with pure love of God. I don't know. Anyway, I think that as much as possible, we can try to go back through this book. We're going to come out of it. And then we're going to really need to go more through a type of like a workstation. We have to a workshop. We're going to really have to dive a little deeper and come and open up about the holy name and find ways to make sure that we're including in our life this process. And the obstacles, I keep telling you, they're going to come. Don't let the mind cheat us. We share the experience that we have. The obstacles are just testing how spiritually strong we are. The hurdles, we can jump over it now. We can get past it by his grace. Always is by the grace of the Lord. So that is to make us stronger. What doesn't kill us makes us strong. We heard that materially, right? So spiritually, these obstacles on the path, they help make us stronger because we take shelter again and again of the holy name. We take shelter of the process of Krishna consciousness. We have a awareness that this mundane consciousness is not for me. I want to be a servant of the Supreme Lord. I want to be reestablished that eternal relationship with Krishna. Okay, are there any points or I'm going to be done?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Humble Pranam.
Yes, Mother.
Thank you very much. I really loved the last part of it that comes from Sharanagati. And each word is so beautiful. You just have to close your eyes and enjoy the wording. It's so beautiful. I was wondering, I speak another language. So if I convert this into my language, still the Nama is wonderful. You know, it gives you significant benefits. I mean, you shouldn't chant with the benefits in mind, but when you chant with your language, the same thing, the same ecstasy you are going to feel, right? The same trance ecstasy, you know, sometimes goosebumps or something, or tears. It should happen when you are really into the Nama, in any language, anyway, anything, right? This is my question.
The whole point is the holy name, it doesn't matter what language. It doesn't, I mean, where do I get, you know, Hare Krishna? No, it doesn't matter. It is the name of the Supreme Lord. And as we say it, you know, our heart, we hear it. He hears it and we hear it. Even when like the broken language of a child, I explained. When we say it, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's working. It's working. And even if we have a desire to taste it, okay, that's not bad. Eventually, we'll just only want to serve. Well, we don't want to taste the taste, but the taste is there, it comes. But the real work for us is understanding what's there, get into the business of cleaning up that nasty place, that heart, anartha nivritti. Make sure that we associate with devotees, adal shraddha, you know, have some faith, associate with devotees, get educated enough to bhajana kriya, that we decide that we want to be connected with the parampara. We take initiation. on the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, then do the hard work of Anartane Vritti, cleansing the heart of all those unwanted things. So we chant that name. We engage in the service of the Supreme Lord like that. Cheto Japa Marginum. Keep cleansing the heart. And after that, Anartane Vritti, we get steady. Ruchi. And there's the taste. We get steady nishta. There's the taste. Ruchi. Ashaktis. We become attached, not to the material world, but attached to Krishna. Preliminary love of God, Bhava, Krishna Prema. If we don't even see Krishna Prema and Bhava this lifetime, fine, let's just get steady. Let's cleanse the heart. Let's get to the platform of steadiness so that we can hear. We don't care. We just want to serve Krishna. We want to serve Nam Prabhu. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're so welcome. I asked
Thank you very
myself,
much, Prabhu.
Mother Sangeeta. Oh, thank you so much. This is very inspiring class. Oh, Mother Sangeeta, I was so happy to hear from you yesterday. And she said, oh, she doesn't want us to see her. I got to think of something to put up. But you have to understand, it's your turn. It is your turn to go in that bag and give those gems, give them out that have been given to you. Remember how as a young girl, you were given the sweetness of the grace of the association of Srila Prabhupada. Give it out. I tell you, a mother's affection is so much stronger than a father's affection. When a mother speaks, everyone can listen because everybody knows mom is just nice. Mom is sweet, mom's going to be nice to us. That sometimes comes with discipline. So give what you have. Don't hold back. I was so appreciative. And with Vishnu Gadad Prabhu chanting for you, it was so nice. That's what we need to see.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hariyastra Prabhu.
Yes.
I just want to appreciate how strongly you were presenting today. I personally feel, and I think the devotees feel, the strong spiritual energy, the Shakti that is coming, from you through Satyanandana Maharaj, and that this is something that you're really owning, and that means you're living it.
I'm trying. You listen, you know me. I'm just trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I don't have so much reflection or much to say, but appreciate. I'm absorbing. I just think it was so strong, and it really just spoke for itself. You spoke. It was just very strong. The plight of the living entity, and I guess the one thing I'll say is that this particular time of the year, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time. But you spoke of something about the blessings and the mercy. And we have these holy days throughout the year that are hotspots of mercy, because we can attach ourselves to these either saintly beings or aspects of Krishna. And we had Lord Nityananda's appearance day. We had Advaita Acharya's appearance day. And we're hearing from great, wonderful, realized, devotees. Coming up, we have Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, and leading up to Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. And this is a wonderful time to really absorb ourselves, attach ourselves, to take ourselves deeper. We can be surrounded if we want. The mercy is there. You've made that point very clearly. Anyway, thank you.
Well, thank you. But it's the devotees that are doing, Anuttama Prabhu is where he set the scene. That class was on fire. It was on fire. I was thinking, we need to run out and try to take advantage of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. I mean, there was nothing left to say, but, you know, can you use me? I thought that the stage had been set so nicely. And all the classes, and Vishnu Gadad gave such a powerful class, you know, on Advaita Charya. And so did Balabhadra. And then here comes Mother Rukmini, you know, kicking it out the door. It's just nectar. So we have to see the chanting is what connects all this together. When we chant, we can hear differently. We can serve with a certain intensity. And, you know, I've been praying like anything. And I asked Lord Chaitanya to help me. So I'm back up to early. And I usually chant, you know, about 4 o'clock. And so I have to get up and, like I said, off of those obeisances, I hit that floor, start doing my exercises, cut on the shower. I don't take cold showers anymore. I used to take cold showers for 11 or 13 years. I've never gone back. You know, every day I go shower. But I get my water warm and I jump in there. And I'm ready, get that tilak on and I'm ready to chant. So 4 o'clock, you know, if devotees want to chant earlier, but my point is that sometimes I get thrown off and I do something with the deities or something like that. So I don't want to start anything I can't finish. But I love chanting early. I'm trying to get back to the 3 o'clock, but I can't, you know. But if I could chant, you know, 4 is okay for me. But 3 o'clock would be better. You're smoking when you're chanting at 3. On fire, house is burning down. You're calling those names and your mind is too tired to even get involved. You just keep calling Krishna. And one last thing I'll say is that the awareness of who we're dealing with becomes really, really powerful when we allow that to enter our consciousness, that Krishna is a person. The whole disease, the disease of the material disease is that everything is void or vague or impersonal. But Krishna is a person, and he loves us. This is really true. He loves us to the extent that he won't force us to love him back. But he won't stop trying to get us to reciprocate. And so we're being bombarded with Krishna's affection. But the moment that when we go to chant, if we can just remember that Krishna loves us and that we've abandoned him, and I don't even have a taste for coming back to you, Krishna, but if you could you help me to remember that I'm supposed to be a servant? Could you please help me? Because I'm not winning here. You know, I don't have the strength. Could you help me? So if we petition him like that, then he'll help us. But we have to ask. We have to almost beg so that he knows that we want him now. End of program. All right. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vanchakalpa. Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
Prabhu.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much,
Thanks.
Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare
Have a good
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.